Good day once again, grade 12 students. So for our second lesson for entrepreneurship, so it will be all about the recognizing the potential market. So first, let us identify first different learning targets for this lesson. So at the end of the lesson, you are expected to, or you should be able to identify the market problem to be solved or the need of the market to be met. You're also going to propose solutions in terms of products and services that will meet the need using techniques on seeking, screening, and seizing opportunities. Ayan. Okay? So the most difficult part of every task is where and how you start. You may have all the resources you needed to operate a new venture, but it will never be easy to start one. So kagaya or as the saying goes, kumbaga, ang pinakamahirap laging proseso ay kung paano mag-umpisa. Ano po? Sa business venture, so ganun din po yung ating, kumbaga, na-apply din po siya. Laging pong mahirap yung paano umpisahan yung ating naisip na business venture. So the entrepreneur process is a step-by-step procedure in establishing any kind of business that an entrepreneur has to undergo. There are 4 aspects of this entrepreneurial process. So, syempre, if we want to be really successful in the business that we are going to start, we need to follow this process. So, the first one is yung ating opportunity spotting and assessment. So, this is the beginning of the process and is considered the most difficult. Entrepreneurs at this point take note of interesting trends in their environment. So kumbaga, applicable siya if you are more of a social entrepreneur na kung saan you are just spotting first opportunity, ano ba yung social problem na meron sa inyong community, and can you help solve that problem, and by what means using a business. So ito yung beginning process, yung paghahanap pa lamang kumbaga ng opportunity. Na dapat kumbaga yung opportunity na makikita din natin as much as possible ay alam natin yung opportunity na yun or inline siya dun sa ating passion or sa ating field of interest. So opportunity spotting and assessment, ito yung major sources of opportunity. Okay, so yung una po natin ay consumers because ang market needs natin originates from them. So minsan ang tinitingnan natin ay ano ba yung kailangan ng consumers? Ano ba yung from those needs ng consumers, doon tayo makakita ng opportunity. It can also be problems in the environment like what I have mentioning po earlier sa social problems. Pwedeng yun yung maging source ng opportunity. And it can also be from new trends, processes, and developments. So halimbawa, in our municipality, parang nagiging uso yung nagkakaroon ng madaming yung mga cafes. Ayan, so isang opportunity siya na kung saan, since in trend siya ngayon, so pwedeng yun yung gamitin natin na opportunity. Ano po, yung magtatayo ng ating sariling kumbaga cafe, restaurant, parang ganun. Ano po. And the entrepreneur's toughest job is to carefully assess the opportunity through estimation of opportunity length, gaano ba katagal yung opportunity na nakita natin yan ba ay pang matagalan or saglit lamang, the capitalization required, kaya ba natin or kaya ba ng entrepreneur na kumbaga pondohan yung business na yon, the different threats, of course, sa isang problem, sa isang opportunity or sa isang business, hindi mawawala yung mga threats. The profitability, yung bang nakita natin opportunity na yon or na-spot na opportunity na yon ay tutubo ba tayo doon? Kasi syempre, we all know naman that the goal talaga of having a business or being an entrepreneur is to gain profits. And lastly, yung calculation of real and perceived value. So after ng opportunity spotting and assessment, ayan, so okay na tayo sa opportunity na nakita natin, assess na natin siya na dun sa pag-assess na yon, ginamit natin yung opportunity length, capitalization required, ay okay, kumbaga kita natin na kaya natin. Next naman na process natin is to develop a business plan. So entrepreneurs should formulate a business plan when they have already spotted and assessed the market. Assess the opportunities for a market. So, kumbaga ito yung magiging yung written plan natin kung paano ba yung magiging process natin in starting this business venture. So, kumbaga hindi pa rin mawawala na may paperwork tayong gagawin. So, a business plan is a comprehensive paper that details the marketing, the operational, the human resource, financial, strategic direction, and tactics of the business. So for this course po or for this subject po, ito po again yung ating magiging final output. And then from lesson to lesson, starting from lesson 3, kumbaga mag-uumpisa na po tayong gumawa ng ating business plan. So yung mga marketing plan, operational plan na kasama doon sa business plan ay kumbaga unti-unti na po natin siya gagawin. So dapat po on the second step natin in developing a business plan, dapat ay alam na natin ano ba yung magiging marketing strategy natin, ano ba yung magiging operational plan natin, yung ating human resource, kumbaga ilan yung mga kakailanganin nating tao, and yung ating financial plan natin, paano ba tayo mag-generate ng fund, yung ating kumbaga yung ating yung allowance natin for this business, gaano kalaki. So ayan, so nandyan po lahat sa business plan dapat yan. So para hindi tayo mahirapan once we are starting our business. So business plan is like the core guide and the direction of the entrepreneur. Kumbaga no matter how long this process will be, as long as we are guided with our business plan, so hindi tayo kumbaga mahihirapang sumunod dun sa ating process na ginawa. The third process naman po is determining the capital needed. So a big idea can never be translated into a reality if the entrepreneur's resources are limited. So no matter how innovative or how creative your idea is, if your capital is not enough, so your business cannot be put into reality. Ano po? So calculation of resources needed to establish the business in comparison with the entrepreneur's resources is mandatory. So you have to calculate if yung resources na kailangan ba ninyo ay kakayanin ng resources, ng entrepreneur's resources. So calculate only the needed resources, calculate only the resources that are really needed. So kung hindi pa naman kailangan yung product na yun or yung item na yun, so baka pwede sa banda-banda ria na siya i-purchase. So kung ano lamang yung kailangan natin on the startup of our business, so yun po muna yung ating puhunanan. So allowance can also be included as there will be times that resources will be inadequate or unsuitable. So once you are starting po a business, so never forget po to put allowance po in your capital po or in your resources. Kasi syempre habang ginagawa or nag-start ka na yung business, hindi talaga mawawala yung may mga biglaan kang expenses. So as much as possible or mas maganda na meron tayong allowance. And lastly, once we are done with the business plan, we have determined the capital needed and we can fund the business, we can now start running the business. So this is the part where the entrepreneur should use the resources allocated for the new venture. The entrepreneur should already have a control and monitoring system to serve as a check and balance of the formulated plans. So, kumbaga, the saying, parang yung ending is also our start. So, parang ganun din siya sa business. So, yung ending ng planning mo, ito yung start na mismo ng iyong business. And once you start running your business, you have to make sure that you have your control and monitoring system. So kaya mong i-monitor kung yung opening ba ay successful and yung succeeding days ba or succeeding months ba ay may kinikita ka ba as an entrepreneur. So again, ulitin natin yung entrepreneurial process. So we start with the opportunity spotting and the assessment. Next is after we have spotted the opportunity, we have assessed the opportunity, we are going to develop the business plan. So again, the business plan is the core guide or the direction of the entrepreneur in his or her business. And after natin tapos yung business plan is yung next naman is yung determining the capital needed, and lastly is running the business. So this is our entrepreneurial process. So for our first process, so let's have an in-depth study of this opportunity spotting and assessment. So for this lesson 2, magpo-focus po tayo sa ating opportunity spotting and assessment before po tayo mag-proceed sa pag-develop ng business plan. So siguro po for this full subject po or for this full course, so hanggang doon po tayo sa determining na capital needed. So we cannot run the business that we are going to create kasi po ay we have limitations. Ano po? So for the opportunity spotting and assessments, we have to scan the marketing environment. So this is the starting point of any new venture that involves the understanding and knowing the intricacies of the macro environment, the micro environment, and the internal environment. So again, when we are spotting an opportunity, we have to scan the marketing environment. So this, the process of seeking, screening, and seizing is adopted to create the most suited product or service for an opportunity. So kumbaga dito sa ating opportunity spotting, meron tayong tinatawag na 3S, yung seeking, screening, and seizing. So the general rule is to find the opportunity first before coming up with a new product or service, not the other way. So usually kasi may kumbaga may ibang entrepreneurs na kung saan inuuna nilang isipin mo na ano yung product. And then saka kumbaga nila sila magra-run ng business without knowing na or without weighing in kung yung product bang yun ay talagang papatok or talagang kailangan doon sa community na pinaglagyan nila ng business nila. Kumbaga inuna nila yung product without spotting the opportunity first. And that is actually a big no in entrepreneurship kasi dapat nga po uunahin natin itingnan, i-scan muna natin yung marketing environment and then assess natin yung mga opportunities na meron doon. So an opportunity is an entrepreneur's business idea that can potentially become a commercial product or service in the future. So kanina pa kumbaga so paulit-ulit po natin pagbanggit ng opportunity. So ano nga ba yung opportunity na sinasabi natin? So again, it is the entrepreneur's business idea. It is a business idea na kung saan may potential siya na maging isang product or service in the future. So ito yung i-assess natin. Let's now have the 3S of the opportunity spotting and assessment. Yung seeking, first one is yung seeking the opportunity. So this is the first step and is the most difficult process of all due to the number of options that the entrepreneur will have to choose from. So syempre, in a certain community or sa isang society, marami tayong opportunity na pwede makita. So this is difficult in terms of, since there are a lot of choices, it will be a bit difficult to spot alin ba yung opportunity na kumbaga mas mag-gain tayo as an entrepreneur. So for seeking the opportunity for our first S, we need to use the stippled analysis. So this will aid the entrepreneur in deciding what product or service to put up and whether this venture will succeed or not. So ano ba yung meron sa stippled analysis? Ano ba yung dapat natin tingnan? So nandyan po yung sociocultural factors, technological factors, the economic factors, ecological factors, political factors, legal factors, ethical factors, and the demographic factors. So there are a lot of factors that we need to look up when we are seeking an opportunity. So tingnan po natin isa-isa kung ano ba dapat yung tingnan natin sa bawat factors na yan. Let's start with the sociocultural factors. So sociocultural factors represent a general view of a locality's traditions, customs, beliefs, norms, and perceptions. So for example, we need to look at their health consciousness of the community, their education level, their attitude toward imported goods and services, product quality and services, and their religion and beliefs. Kasi minsan, halimbawa, ang gusto nating business is more on wood, tawag dito. We are going to sell some religious artifacts. Pero yung community pala na pagtatayuan natin is they are not Christians. For example, they are Muslims. So syempre, doon pa lang makikita na natin na hindi kumbaga mag-gain yung ating naisip na business kasi iba yung religion nila, iba yung beliefs nila. Ayan. So, isa lamang po yung sa example na dapat natin tingnan, yung kanilang religions and beliefs. Next, aside from sociocultural factors, we also have to, so these factors affect a continuation po ng sociocultural. These factors affect how a person behaves and reacts to marketing and selling activities. So, for example, their buying habits, their emphasis on safety. Ayan po. And so we also have to look on the behavior of the community in terms of the marketing and the selling activities. Next is yung technological factors. So entrepreneurs should always be up to date with the technological changes, as these are the catalysts in improving a product or service. We can also look at the rate of the technological change, the technology incentives, the communication infrastructure, and the internet infrastructure and penetration. So if our business is reliant po sa technology, we have to make sure that in that community, we can still find ways on how we can sustain po yung ating yung technology or yung kailangan po natin doon sa community na yon. We have to make sure if halimbawa po ay our business is really in line with communication. So we have to make sure na kaya po natin i-provide yung yung requirements for that business. Next is the economic factors. So this plays a vital role in scanning the market because this directly affect any business venture. So syempre nakadepende rin po sa kumbaga sa economy ng isang society yung ating magiging business. So we have to see or to analyze the growth, the inflation and the interest rates of that community or of that society, the labor costs. So syempre since ang mangangailangan tayo ng kumbaga ng employees or ng trabahador for our business, we have to see to it or look at the labor rate at that community. Baka kasi iba yung kanilang rate sa iyong kumbaga sa iyong alam, and then sa iyong business plan or kumbaga sa iyong capital na kinompute ay hindi siya mag-match. And then we also have to look at the unemployment rates. Aside from that, we also have to look at their monetary policies. So ano ba yung parang yung flow ng more of ano yung flow ng money sa kanilang sa society na yon. So also part of the economic factors. So these factors include the income, the expenses and resources that can influence the cost of doing business and generating income. So we also have to look din po kasi if the people in that community can afford our product or our service. Kasi baka mamaya yung community pala ay hindi sila yung tipo ng mga tao na mag-spend ng big amounts for just a certain product. So we have to make sure na magma-match yung ating yung income or yung average income sa community na yon dun sa ating magiging business or sa ating pricing. Then we also have the ecological or the environmental factors. So the scan of these factors will help the entrepreneur determine if his business will comply with the environmental standards. So there are certain communities na kung saan they have laws about dun sa business na dapat ay siya ay environmental friendly. We also have to check the weather or the climate change in that community, the laws regulating environmental pollution, the waste management, and the recycling of, and of course, the endangered species. So part pa din po siya. Kasi mamaya, hindi natin alam. Kumbaga, it will be safe to know what are the existing laws in that community in terms of their ecological and environmental factors. Ano po? And then, these factors should be given much importance in conducting a business, especially when the world has already suffered severely from human-induced calamities. So if our business is reliant po with the environment, so say for example, you need to cut trees or you need to cut trees. So ano yung bang ano ba yung parang stand ng community na yon doon sa mga ganung bagay or doon sa mga processes na involve yung environment. Ayan. And then we also have to look at the political factors. So these are mostly induced by government policies and administrations, which can have a strong effect in the entrepreneur's business. So they have to look into the government effectiveness, the corruption level, the government stability and likely changes, and the tax policies or the rates and incentives. We can also look into their political rights and the freedom of press. Ayan. So it is also pala din po ay yung ating rule of law. So in a certain community there because there are communities na kumbaga parang iba yung kanilang political views and that can also affect the business that you will be starting. Ano po? So it is kumbaga safe or it will help your business po if you are going to look into some of the political factors in that community. Next, of course, is yung legal factors. You have to make sure that you are going to look into the legal factors of that certain community. So related with political factors, these are government laws and regulations that can restrict or allow business activities. Kasi baka mamaya ay may mga activities ka or may mga products ka na hindi pala po pwede sa community na yon. You need to look into the copyright, the patents or the intellectual property rights, the consumer protection, the employment law, health and safety law, and the data protection law. So there are a lot of kumbaga law na dapat ay alam po natin once we're starting the business. Ano po? So hindi lang kumbaga tayo basta entrepreneur, parang dapat ay inline din tayo sa iba't ibang mga batas na meron tayo na align po sa business or sa pagtatayo ng isang business. And then we also have the ethical factors. So this will serve as the entrepreneur's guide on how to be ethical in running the business. Yung ethical advertising and sales practices, we have to make sure or we have to know ano ba yung kumbaga unethical way of advertising dun sa community na yon. Baka kasi mamaya dun sa ating business plan, sa ating marketing strategy, naglagay tayo ng ganitong activity pero sa community na yun pala ay parang iba yung dating or iba yung belief nila in that certain activity. Also, the people's attitude toward counterfeiting and breaking patents, and their attitude toward development and well-being of employees. Ayan. So there are a lot of things that we need to look into when it comes to the ethical factors. Kasi kumbaga, this will be useful once we are making our marketing plan. Next naman po, the last one sa people po natin is the demographic factors. So these are the characteristics of the people in the target market. So yung population growth rate, yung age distribution and life expectancy rate, gender distribution, social classes. So we have to look into if our product will be who will be our target market. So will it be the younger ones? So yung product ba na naisip natin ay or yung opportunity ba na nakita natin ay saan ba siya kumbaga mas kailangan, sa younger ones ba siya or yung sa ating work age group or sa ating mga senior citizens. So alin ba yung may pinakamaraming kumbaga population sa community na yon? And then we can use that also not only on the opportunity po mismo but also in our marketing strategies or in our marketing plan. So kung halimbawa meron ka ng target market na yung work age group ang target mo, so papaano mo rin ita-target or papaano mo rin ita-target yung ibang ages na parang hindi lamang ang customers mo ay manggagaling dun sa work age. So papaano mo rin kumbaga mahihikayat yung younger ones or yung mga older ones na kumbaga mag-avail ng yung product or mag-avail ng iyong service. So those are the different factors that we need to look into when we are analyzing or assessing our opportunity. Next part po of our step 1 is we need to know the different methods of generating ideas. So, syempre, mangangailangan tayo dyan ng hindi lamang ikaw, kumbaga, yung hindi lang sa'yo or hindi lang first point of view yung titingnan natin when we are generating ideas. So, dapat ay meron tayong iba't ibang ways para makagather ng information. So, the first one is yung FGD or yung focus group discussion. So, in FGD, a moderator handles a very open, free-flowing, and in-depth discussion with a group of people who can provide insightful ideas about a new product or service that will fill a market. So, kumbaga, this is more of a group discussion na kung saan meron kayong isang main idea, main focus on for discussion. Next, the second one is the brainstorming. So, similar to FGD, this is or similar to focus group discussion, this is an activity that allows the participants to share creative ideas using the following rules. The first one, no destructive criticism allowed. Second one, wider ideas are expected. Third one, more ideas are preferred. And fourth one, improvement of others' ideas is allowed. So, kumbaga, sa brainstorming, more on talagang sharing and then commenting on the others' ideas ang ginagawa sa brainstorming. Third one po is brain writing or internet brain. So, typographical error. So that is brainstorming. Ano po? So this is exactly the same as brainstorming, except that the channel used is not face-to-face, but in writing or online. So this is usually applicable when the people that you are talking to are not from the same place or location as you. So halimbawa ay nasa iba't ibang lugar kayo but you want to have a brainstorming, so you can use this method, brainwriting. So nag-iba lang siya ng tawag pero parang brainstorming lang siya na online yung ginamit natin. So siguro for our activity or for our course for entrepreneurship, we are going to use this method kasi ay we still are in that situation na hindi pa gaano pwedeng mag face-to-face. And then we also have the problem inventory analysis. This is the last one. So this is similar to FGD, except that the participants are already given an inventory of product or service problems. The participants will just identify from the list given the compelling problems of a potential product or service instead of generating the ideas from them. So kumbaga sa problem inventory analysis, there is already a product or inventory of product or service problems. So ang ibibigay lamang ng mga participants doon ay yung problems and then ano yung possible solutions on that problems. Yeah. So that is our first step, our S1. Next naman po is our S2 or yung screening the opportunity. So we already have seeking the opportunity. The next step is the screening or to screen the opportunity. So this is the process of cautiously selecting the best opportunity. So there will be a lot of opportunities that you will see on the first step or in scanning the market environment. So for the second step, we need to select cautiously alin ba yung best. So the entrepreneur should apply due diligence and independent judgment in selecting the opportunities that have a potential and eliminate those that are not within the scope of the entrepreneur's risk appetite or the tolerance of the business risk. So again, we will be having several opportunities and then you have to eliminate alin ba doon yung hindi mo kayang mag-take ka ng risk or yung sa tingin mo ay hindi mo kakayanin siyang kumbaga gawin. So an entrepreneur should say no if an opportunity does not contain any of the following business opportunity elements. So if yung opportunity na nakita natin ay kumbaga hindi nakita yung mga sumusunod, so pwedeng i-eliminate na natin yung opportunity na yun. So we have to be decisive on this part. So an opportunity must have superior value to customers. So kung yung ating opportunity na nakita ay hindi naman siya kumbaga gaano essential or hindi siya gaanong of value sa customer, so we have to eliminate it. Then, if that opportunity does not solve a compelling problem, issue, a need, or a want, we have to eliminate also that one. Also, if that opportunity is not a potential cash cow, or we cannot generate profits from that opportunity, so we have to eliminate that as well. And lastly, if it does not match with the entrepreneur skills, resources, and risk appetite, we have also to eliminate it. So if that opportunity that you have identified is not on your field of interest or your passion or your field that you know, you have to eliminate it. Or if you do not have or know resources, or where you can get the resources for that opportunity, you also have to eliminate it. And if you cannot take risk, or it is beyond your risk appetite, you also have to eliminate it. So those are the different factors that you need to consider when you are choosing, or when you are selecting and eliminating the business, the opportunities that you have seen in the first step. Then after po ng ating second step na screening, we have to seize the opportunity na. So this is the last step in opportunity spotting and assessment. This is the pushing through with the chosen opportunity. So we have to choose the opportunity that we are going to push through in our second part, which is developing the business plan. So entrepreneurs should make the best out of this opportunity, and they should exert effort and full dedication for the success of the new venture. So after po natin, kumbaga, mascan the market, mapili po talaga yung opportunity, we have to make sure that the opportunity that we will choose ay paglalaanan po talaga natin ng effort, ng dedication para po maging successful yung business na yun. So that is our second lesson, the recognizing the potential market. And it is also the first process in the entrepreneurial process, which is the opportunity spotting and assessment. So if you have any questions or clarifications regarding the lesson, so do not hesitate to message your subject teacher. So good day, everyone. God bless and keep safe.